WWE is going to be dead in 10 years due to the TKO greed. TKO is killing the future of the WWE. It's no longer a true entertainment with an organic connection between the characters and the fans. It is a slot machine where the lever gets pulled 1,000 times a day by TKO. Talk about how they're pricing out fans, which is why the ratings are going down, why they're struggling to sell out shows. Or the product itself, where there's no more character to fan development, where there's no more long storyline builds, which in result, there's no more great matches because everything's being rushed. We could talk about the 1,000 ads all over the ring, outside the ring, all over the arena, all over TV. So everybody on the internet complaining about WWE lying about building young talent, it's because TKO is throwing the hammer down on these older veteran superstars getting over because they're already established from the old WWE. Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, they are already established, known around the world, so it's easy to make them champion, make them go over, so they could be the ones, be the faces out doing interviews on major networks, out doing popular podcasts, out being on ESPN, because they're already known, and that's what TKO wants. They want the money that they can get today while jeopardizing tomorrow. TKO is not in the business of building young superstars, and that's where killing the future of the WWE is coming into play. Look at the latest two examples, Braun Breaker, Obafemi. Now, I'm not saying Braun Breaker is Obafemi, but let's not forget that the summer of 2025, Braun Breaker had the momentum and the potential that Obafemi has right now. Braun Breaker, when he was in the Vision with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed, sky was the limit, had all the potential in the world, and he was getting over. He was getting hot. And when Seth Rollins got injured and they vacated that World Heavyweight Championship, WWE, I know for a fact, were sitting there thinking about pushing Braun Breaker to the moon because they knew he was getting over with the WWE Universe, which is why they went with the route of having Braun Breaker take out Seth Rollins and kick him out the Vision, which then puts Braun Breaker in the forefront of the Vision. World Championship match, Braun Breaker, CM Punk. Perfect example of TKO not being in the business of building young talent, but putting over the older, veteran, established superstar of CM Punk. CM Punk, the character CM Punk, storyline-wise, did not need that championship right there. That was the perfect opportunity for Braun Breaker, who had all the momentum to win the World Championship, be pushed to the moon, and see what he can do with it. Instead, you killed all the momentum that dude had to put it on CM Punk for what? Fast forward, Braun Breaker returns from a hernia surgery, and whatever little momentum he was gaining back, you kill it again and officially put him in the dirt when you have Seth Rollins go over on him. What was the point of having Seth Rollins go over on Braun Breaker? That was a perfect example of TKO not being in the business of building young talent, because look at Braun Breaker storyline-wise. That would have been perfect for him to go over on Seth Rollins and continue his rise. Instead, you kill it. Obafemi, who's probably the hottest thing in WWE right now, probably one of the hottest things in WWE in over a decade. And what is TKO doing but showing you that they are not in the business of building young superstars by having Obafemi dominate the King of the Ring tournament, earn a championship match at SummerSlam, and rip it over. Dominate Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. You have him lose to Brock Lesnar even though he didn't get dominated. Okay, you want the trilogy match. Why put him in the King of the Ring tournament? Why not just have Brock Lesnar cost him in the qualifying match? Or if you put him in a tournament, have Brock Lesnar cost him in the tournament, then you get your trilogy match. Why have him win the fucking tournament, dominate the tournament, get a championship match, strip him out, and just let Seth Rollins walk right into it? What was the point of that? Oh, because we're going to get Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk. What did I say earlier? The core four established older veterans that they are going to put over and showcase, because those are the faces from the old WWE that's already established that they can make money off of. Instead of building the young talent where you could have had Oba versus Roman, Oba versus CM Punk. Honestly, I just think the future of the WWE is in trouble. I don't think TKO, its leadership, cares about the fans, cares about the product itself. It just saw a cash cow that they try to capitalize on, and they're doing whatever they can to juice what they can get out right now. and not give a fuck about tomorrow. WWE just made it official. It is Gunther versus Nick Aldis at SummerSlam. We all saw this coming. Triple H on stage at Fanatic Fest just confirmed it and made it official. Look, we all saw this coming. The only person out of all of this, though, that I feel bad for is Sami Zayn. You're trying to tell me that Sami Zayn for 2 straight years is going to miss out on the biggest PLE of the SummerSlam? You're telling me that you put a WWE Championship on Sami Zayn the first time in his career, and then 9 days later you take it off, and now a couple weeks later he's not even going to be on the PLE's SummerSlam? What are we doing with Sami Zayn? You want to talk about justice for Sami Zayn? That is the perfect shirt that he came out with. Because, bro, where's the justice for Sami Zayn? Like, how they've been doing my boy is crazy. And this is why I talked about in my latest video how TKO is killing the future of the WWE. Now, Sami Zayn is not a young talent, but Sami Zayn is a talent that's been busting his ass, that is a underdog story, and somebody that you can roll with, just like back in the day how we had championship runs like a la Kofi Kingston. You're telling me Sami Zayn couldn't get a long run like that? You're telling me because, they got to put the core 4. The core 4, you know who they are, right? Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, the older veteran, already established superstars from the old WWE, where TKO, and I say this, are not in the business no matter what they say about building young talent. They just want to milk whatever they can from the old WWE established veteran superstars, which is what they're doing. Which is why we continue to get the same result over and over again. The core 4, Roman, Punk, Rhodes, and Rollins, continuing to get over in every storyline they're in, no matter who they're going against, no matter who has the momentum a la Braun Breaker when they had CM Punk beat them last year for the vacated world title when CM Punk didn't need it. And at that time, Braun Breaker had the momentum behind him and then they killed it. A la Obafemi, who dominated the King of the Ring tournament, earned a championship match at SummerSlam, and you rip him out of it to put Seth Rollins in there? Roman Reigns is retiring from the WWE. Roman has just come out and said that he's got 3 elite years left, and then he will evaluate where his life is. We need to cherish and acknowledge every moment that Roman Reigns, the OTC, blesses us with his presence, because before you know it, he will be gone. But now, all jokes aside, Roman Reigns on the Nightcap podcast with Shannon Sharp, Ocho, ISO Joe, also featuring King of New York MVP Jalen Brunson. Shout out. That it was a topic about older wrestlers fighting into their 50s and 60s, and Roman made a face like, that ain't gonna be me. And then Roman came out and said that he's got about 3 years left. And at the end of those 3 years, he'll evaluate where his life is. But if you listen to the podcast and him talk during that topic, you could pretty much pick up what he was putting down, that literally in 3 years, he's probably going to be done. Like, he talked about how he wants to give back to his kids. He wants to give back to his wife. Like, he is pretty much saying that he wants to be home 24/7 with his family. He's got a big family, a bunch of kids. So, honestly, I'm believing him that in 3 years, he's probably done. And I know, like, it's a question where he kind of left the door open. Mike Vick or Cam Newton, both in their prime, who are you taking? Can you imagine in today's NFL? Y'all want to talk about Lamar Jackson? Can you imagine prime Cam Newton, prime Michael Vick? Like, I feel like they've been slept on, especially Mike Vick, because, like, a lot of people like me, I was a young cat when Mike Vick was in the NFL. Right? Mike Vick, everybody thinks of Mike Vick of his running ability and how he was so crazy with his running style. Bro, Mike Vick had a cannon. Mike Vick can throw the football. I know his passing stats doesn't show that, but if you go back and watch, Mike Vick had a cannon. Mike Vick can throw that football. Mike Vick was dynamic. He was just ahead of his time. That's why I say if Mike Vick was Mike Vick back then in today's NFL, bro, he'd be a top 5 quarterback without a doubt. Without a doubt. Mike Vick, bro, in the early 2000s, it wasn't a pass-heavy offense. It was all run. It was all about defense, and defenses back then can hit you. So Mike Vick was getting hit, and Mike Vick didn't have the offenses we have today where he was able to use the powers that he had, but he was still doing his thing. So can you imagine? And then Cam Newton, big body Newton, what he was able to do in his prime, Superman. Can you imagine him in today's NFL? Like, I just feel like prime Newton and prime Vick are slept on. I really do feel like they were slept on. But, bro, who would you take, though? If you could take Mike Vick, Cam Newton in the primes, who would you take? Randy Moss and Terrell Owens in their prime would be the best duo in NFL history. You could take any receivers from past and present, pair them up, and they wouldn't touch Randy Moss and Terrell Owens. Shit, you could take a lot of people's GOAT and Jerry Rice and pair them up with anybody, and they still wouldn't touch Randy Moss and Terrell Owens as a duo. You could take Jerry Rice and Jamar Chase. You could take Jerry Rice and Justin Jefferson. You could take Jerry Rice and JSN. You could take Jerry Rice and Puka Nakua. You could take Jerry Rice and Devontae Adams. You could take Jerry Rice and Larry Fitzgerald. You could take Jerry Rice and Julio Jones. You could take Jerry Rice and Antonio Brown. You could take Jerry Rice and Calvin Johnson. You could take Jerry Rice and anybody. You compare Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, who people are saying are two best receivers in the league right now. You compare them up, and they would not touch prime Randy Moss and Terrell Owens. Prime Randy Moss and Terrell Owens would be the best duo in NFL history if they were teammates in their prime. Without a doubt. It's not debatable. It's not. In my eyes, those are the two best receivers in NFL history. And I get a lot of people got Jerry Rice number one. I got him number three. I can understand why people have him number one. Arguments can go either way. That's fine that people have him number one. But I'm telling you, prime Randy was like that. Prime Terrell Owens was like that. And if you had them as a duo, ain't nobody, past or present, being paired up can touch Randy Moss and Terrell Owens. That's just my feeling on it. What y'all think? Michael Jordan became the greatest basketball player of all time because of his sneakers. Everybody's thinking it. I'm going to say it. In the 1980s, he had the luxury of riding the coattails of Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Larry Bird, which was why for the first 7 years of his career, nobody cares that he went 1-9 in the playoffs. But he had such a sneaker brand that fucking took off in the Jordans that once the 90s came and Magic was gone, well, on his way out, Larry Bird was gone, well, on his way out, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was gone, they needed a star. They needed a face of the NBA. And the fact that his sneaker brand, Jordans, were so fucking popular and just took off, they're like, this is our guy. This has to be our guy. I'm not saying Michael Jordan wasn't great. I'm not saying he wasn't a good basketball player. But go watch him in the 90s and compare him to SGA. Everybody wants to talk about how SGA flops, how SGA gets all these calls. Go look at all the favorable calls that Michael Jordan was getting in the 90s when the NBA wanted to start making him a star. Because he wasn't getting those calls in the 80s, but he was getting them in the 90s. Why? Just think about it for a little bit. LeBron James is the GOAT. Michael Jordan never dealt with the pressure that LeBron James deals with. LeBron James is the GOAT. Y'all can debate yourselves on that one. Michael Jordan had the luxury of entering the NBA by riding the coattails of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, of Magic Johnson, of Larry Bird, which is why for the first 7 years of Michael Jordan's career, nobody cares that he went 1-9 in the playoffs because he had zero pressure. Nobody looked at Michael Jordan like they talk about him now. Where LeBron James, day one as an 18-year-old in the NBA, had all the pressure to be the star of the NBA off rip. Michael Jordan in the 90s, when Larry Bird was done, when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was done, and when Magic Johnson caught that little disease and he was about flaking out his career, that's when they needed a star. So that's when Michael Jordan was able to step into that role. And let's not forget, Michael Jordan, the Jordan brand, the sneakers took off so much in the 80s that, like, bro, honestly, I feel like the Jordan sneakers is what put Jordan on the map. Y'all want to talk about SGA and all the flopping and calls he gets? Go back and watch Michael Jordan. Go look at the favorable calls that he got in the 90s that he didn't get in the 80s, because the 90s is when they wanted to appoint him as the fucking guy. I'm just saying, LeBron James is the GOAT. I'm not even just talking about stats. I'm just talking overall. WWE is about to fumble Obafemi like they fumbled Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker was Obafemi before Obafemi. Last year, you want to talk about momentum. You want to talk about being red hot. You want to talk about sky being the limit. You want to talk about all the potential in the world. That was Braun Breaker 1 year ago. When he joined division with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman, he had all the momentum in the world. He was being placed as the future of the WWE, and he was getting hot and he was getting over. And when Seth Rollins got hurt and you made the angle, made the call to have Braun Breaker spear Seth Rollins like he took Seth Rollins out, and that title became vacated, that was the perfect time to put that title on Braun Breaker and push him to the moon while he was over with the WWE Universe and see what he can do with it. CM Punk did not need that title at that time. but you didn't do it. And then you fumbled. Because you look at now compared to last year, Braun Breaker being a fucking third wheel behind Austin Theory and Maxine. What are we doing? They fumbled the shit out of Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker needs to go to SmackDown. They need to put him on SmackDown, get him off of Raw, get him away from the Vision, and start him over on SmackDown. That's what they need to do. And Obafemi, I'm afraid because, bro, he has all the momentum, sky being the limit, all the potential in the world. He earned a championship match, and you rip it away for Seth Rollins so he can have a fucking Hell in a Cell match with Brock Lesnar? What are you prolonging this title shot for? Like you got lightning in a bottle. Go with it. Run with it. Can you imagine Oba versus Roman? Can you imagine Oba versus CM Punk? Like, why are we waiting? Man, because look, WWE, it's hard to play the waiting game because anything can happen. People can get injured, and then it fucks everything up, and then you got to move shit on the fly. Don't wait. Run with it. And I'm afraid they're going to fumble Obafemi. WWE debut of Zilla Fatu, who will join the Bloodline at SummerSlam when he helps Roman Reigns defeat Seth Rollins to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. Zilla Fatu is making his long-awaited debut with the WWE. He will join the Bloodline and be right there with Jacob Fatu and the Usos, acknowledging the tribal chief Roman Reigns. That is what's happening. It's been a long fucking it's been rumored for like what, a year, maybe 2 years now that Zilla Fatu was going to come into the WWE, and it hasn't happened yet. And then I kind of think it also fell off because the Bloodline storyline last year kind of fell off. Like Roman wasn't really around much last year. Solo had the MFTs and formed that with Jacob coming in, but then it just wasn't the same as the Bloodline. And then Jacob eventually left Solo and had his little story with Solo. But now that the Bloodline is back, because now that you got Roman back as the tribal chief and controlling everything again as world champion, it makes sense to bring Zilla in now because Solo isn't coming back to the family. He's joining forces with Royce Keys and LA Knight. So you bring Zilla in, which adds another layer, adds another fucking bloodline. Like, I like it. I like it. We shall see what happens. What do you think? WWE is destroying Braun Breaker's career, and I'm afraid for Obafemi, who's following the same path. Braun Breaker needs to go to SmackDown. Get him off of Raw. Get him away from the Vision and Austin Theory, Maxine, Logan Paul. Shit, Paul Heyman don't even want to be a part of that group no more. You need to crumble it up and throw it out. But Braun Breaker needs to go to SmackDown. He needs a start over because what they have done to him over the last year is crazy. At this time last year, sky was the limit for Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker was Obafemi before Obafemi. You want to talk about momentum and the potential that Braun Breaker had last year when he joined the Vision with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman, even before Bronson Reed joined? Bro, everybody was talking about Braun Breaker being really the future star of this business. And you go from that to 1 year later, him being in the background of a love triangle between Austin Theory and Maxine. How did we get here? How did the WWE fumble Braun Breaker? Because when Seth Rollins got hurt and that fucking world title became vacated, there was no reason to put it on CM Punk. You did not need to put that title on CM Punk. That was the perfect opportunity to put it on Braun Breaker and push him to the moon and see what he could do with it, because he already had the momentum behind him. He's the one, even though Seth went out because of injury, but they played it in the story that he took Seth out. So that was the perfect fucking angle to put the title on Braun Breaker. And that's why I'm afraid for fucking Obafemi. Because Obafemi got all the momentum, got all the fucking heat. He's red hot right now. He destroyed the King of the Ring tournament. He earned a championship match. And you rip it away? For what? To put Seth Rollins in there with Roman? Can you imagine Oba versus Roman? Like, I just don't understand what we're doing. Can you imagine Oba versus CM Punk? Like, I just don't understand why you're making Oba wait, because anything can happen, knock on wood. What if Oba gets hurt in that Hell in a Cell match and then it prolongs his title shot? And then by the time it does come, it might not be as meaningful as it would be right now. Like, I'm not saying he wouldn't get a pop even if the fucking title shot came later in the year or even next year. But still, the fact that he's red hot the way he is, you ride that shit. Just like with Braun Breaker last year, he was red hot. You ride it. So I'm afraid for Oba. I hope WWE does not fumble Oba like they've been fumbling Braun Breaker. So we'll see what happens. But Braun Breaker needs to go to SmackDown. Adam Edge Copeland makes his WWE return. Edge will not retire with AEW. I just believe wholeheartedly that Edge will have one more little run with the WWE before he officially calls it quits. I just can't see Edge retiring with a whole nother wrestling company that's not WWE. I just can't see it. I really can. When his contract expires with AEW and everybody's expecting him to be officially retired, I believe he will make one more return to the WWE, have one little run, and then retire. That's what I believe. Because look, when you think of WWE, you think of Edge. When you think of Edge, you think of WWE. Like, he's had one of the best careers in WWE history. Like, he was in WWE for what? Over 20 something years. Like, it's just hard to think that Edge is going to retire and it's his last appearances in another wrestling company other than WWE. I just can't see it. So I truly believe when his contract expires and everybody's expecting him to retire with AEW, I truly believe within a few weeks, or maybe it could take a couple months after that, he makes a surprising return to the WWE and gives us one more little run so he can officially retire from the WWE. You know what I mean? So I don't know what y'all. Dean Ambrose is making his WWE return. Jon Moxley will not re-sign his AEW contract. Now, I know I've been reaching, dreaming, and clickbaiting about Dean Ambrose returning at SummerSlam because, bro, that would be a cinema moment if he was able to return at SummerSlam and confront Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins during their world title match. But obviously, we know that's not going to happen. But his contract expires in October 2027. That is 1 year from now, a year and a couple months. And honestly, he's going to follow through with it because AEW will definitely not let him out of that contract early because they know where he's going to go. And to everybody who's saying he will never step foot back in the WWE, we all said that about Brock Lesnar. Look what happened. He came back at SummerSlam last year. I think Dean Ambrose, when that contract is over, will take a couple months off and make a big return during the Royal Rumble in 2028. That is my fucking prediction. That is my assumption. I think after his contract with AEW expires, people are going to be speculating, oh my God, he's going to come back to the WWE, but he's going to push it for a couple months, come back at the Rumble, win the Rumble, and he'll main event WrestleMania in 2028. And he could take on Roman or Seth if one of them is the champion. So we shall see. I know it's still a long time from now, but I do think Jon Moxley, a.k.a. Dean Ambrose, will make a return to the WWE. I just think it's going to come after his contract expires. And I think the big return like that will fit perfectly out of Royal Rumble.
Conor McGregor, it's over. Dana White, you better start paying people back because there's a lot of angry motherfuckers out there. What the hell did we just watch? Conor McGregor, my boy, I love you, but it's time to call it quits. It's time to call it quits. Look, you ain't got nothing to prove in that octagon, all right? We know how tough you are. We know what you brought to the sport. We know you're one of, if not the biggest draw in UFC history. But how the last few fights has went for you, bro, your career in the octagon is taking a hit. The legacy in the octagon is taking a hit. You're always going to be popular. You're always going to be a fucking global fucking image, icon, all that, right? As far as personality goes. But your career in that octagon, boy, it's taking a hit. And first of all, what keeps me flabbergasted is that your last fight ended with a gruesome fucking leg injury, and you come back years later, and in your first fight back, within the first 2 seconds, you start throwing wild kicks and then blow out your knee. Boy, dog, look, just give it up. Keep doing your business adventures. Keep making commercials. Keep being a part of movies. You're doing your thing. You're great. Keep living that Hollywood life. We know you're set for life. All right? That octagon life, though, just let it go. And I think he's acknowledging this because if y'all noticed in that octagon after the fight was over, you saw him throw his hands like this, like, yeah, I'm done. I ain't coming back in this bitch no more. I won't be surprised if when he speaks, he's going to say and tell us, like, he's done. He's retiring. Just do it. Just walk away. WWE is destroying the future of the WWE, so busy in feeding the egos of the older and veteran superstars that they're willing to kill the momentum of the young talent that they got. And what just happened on SmackDown is proving my point where Cody Rhodes can walk right into a championship match just like Seth Rollins walked into a championship match. So you're telling me Oba Femi, the young talent, the future of the WWE, who's hotter than anybody right now, got all the momentum in the world, won King of the Ring, earned a spot for a championship at SummerSlam, and you rip him away just so Seth Rollins can walk into that match? Then you want to talk about Sami Zayn, who won his first ever championship, not a young talent, but somebody who's never won a championship before, and then 9 days later, you let CM Punk, who was gone for 3 months, come back and win that championship, then let Cody Rhodes walk right into that match at SummerSlam? Is that what we're doing? I call them the core four. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes. The core four that, you know, if they're not in the main event scene or in a championship picture, they're taking vacation. They're not around, or they're hurt, or they're making a movie. They're not on television. They're not on Netflix. But they could be gone 6 months to a year, come back, and just like that win a championship. Like, what are we doing? I understand as a business, there's still a big draw. They still make you money, and I understand that's what you got to take care of. But you also got to think about the future and the money that you're going to make in the future, because you still got to make money in the future. And that young talent are the fucking superstars that are going to make you money in the future. So when that baton is ready to drop, which is going to come sooner than later, because all those old veteran superstars are pushing 50, and a lot of them, like Seth Rollins and Roman, are talking about retiring sooner than later, you're going to want that young talent to be ready to handle that pressure. You're going to want them to catch that baton to be able to run with it. Well, you hindering their fucking momentum like Oba right now. And let's talk about Braun Breaker. Let's not forget, last year, 2025, sky was the limit for Braun Breaker. He was in the division with Seth Rollins. Everything was hitting on all cylinders. He was gaining momentum. He was getting hot. Every arena he went to. And when Seth got hurt, that was the perfect opportunity to take that vacated World Heavyweight Championship and let Braun Breaker get a run, push him to the moon, and see what he could do with it. Instead, he put it on CM Punk for what? CM Punk didn't need it. At that moment in time, CM Punk did not need to win that championship. Even if the end game was CM Punk, Roman Reigns, WrestleMania for the world title, you could have had fucking Braun Breaker win the championship, get a nice little run with it, see how he handles it, see how the universe responds to it, and then drop it to CM Punk at the Rumble or at the Chamber right before WrestleMania to where you still get your Punk Reigns match. Like, what are we doing? Because it's not like we needed a long build to CM Punk and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, because they only had a fucking couple promos from the moment Roman won the Rumble and CM Punk had that match with him at Mania. So it's not like we needed a long build. I don't know, bro. Woo! What do y'all think? WWE is making CM Punk look weak. So CM Punk made his WWE return and won the WWE Championship against Sami Zayn on Monday Night Raw. Why? So you're telling me that was a bigger moment than to have CM Punk defeat Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam for the WWE title? You already told us that we were getting CM Punk and Cody Rhodes for the title at SummerSlam back in April after WrestleMania when CM Punk and Cody had that promo. And CM Punk hinted at that WWE Championship, and Cody told CM Punk, yeah, come get it whenever you want it. I'm easy to find. So we knew we were getting this match. And you're telling me you're going to have CM Punk defeat Sami Zayn on a random fucking episode of Raw just because it's in Chicago for the title, instead of having the bigger moment, bigger story of having CM Punk defeat Cody Rhodes for the title at SummerSlam? Like, what are we doing? Like, I feel like they make CM Punk look weak ever since he made his WWE return. Dude has come up short in a couple of Royal Rumbles. How many big-time matches has this dude come up short in? He hasn't won a WrestleMania yet. He's had championship matches before where he lost. And the one big-time match that he won for the world title against Gunther last year was legitimate, but then he got cashed in on by Seth Rollins 2 minutes later. And then Seth Rollins goes out with injury, because Seth was supposed to carry that title to WrestleMania and lose it to Roman Reigns, not even to CM Punk. But CM Punk got fortunate that Seth got hurt, so the title was vacant, and they had him beat Braun Breaker for the title. Braun Breaker, who right now is just like going like this ever since fucking Seth Rollins got hurt, honestly. Because WWE has done nothing with Braun Breaker since. And now you have him beat Sami Zayn on Monday Night Raw when you could have waited one more month and had him defeat Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam, which would have been more impactful. Like, what are we doing? To me, this tells me that I think Cody Rhodes is going to defeat CM Punk to win back the title at SummerSlam. I don't know. What y'all think? CM Punk makes his WWE return on Monday Night Raw in Chicago. And what did Kawinkin think? We got Sami Zayn defending his WWE Undisputed Championship against Cody Rhodes. Two SmackDown superstars fighting for a SmackDown championship being had on Monday Night Raw. Make it make sense. Well, here you go. SummerSlam's right around the corner. This episode of Monday Night Raw happens to take place in Chicago, the hometown of who? CM Punk, who's making his big return. And what match do we want? CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes, but you know there's got to be a title involved, so it's heavily rumored that Cody Rhodes is going to win the WWE Championship back. Sorry, Sami Zayn. We know you had your moment about a week ago, but that's all you get. It's over. And we're going to get CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam for the WWE Championship. Look, this is what everybody's expecting, this is what everybody's thinking, and this is what's heavily rumored. And if it happens, it happens. I do want to see CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes. That is a money match right there. But I just feel like if it happens that exact way that I just laid it out and Cody does win back the title, I just feel like, man, what was the point of even putting the title on Sami Zayn just to strip it away a week later? And I know there's a lot of people out there right now saying, oh, well, it shouldn't matter how long he holds it. Sami is just happy that he finally won it. And I get that. I'm not here to debate if a long run with the championship or a short run with the championship is a big deal. I'm not here to debate that. But what I am saying, storyline-wise, it makes no sense. You didn't need to take the title off Cody just for him to win it back a week later to pop off the story of CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes leading up to SummerSlam. To me, that didn't have to happen. You know what I mean? You could have just kept the title on Cody and then have him show up on Monday Night Raw just to cut a promo or anything, and then have CM Punk come out. You didn't have to take the title off him, set up a match between Cody and Sami so Cody could try to win it back, and then he does, and then CM Punk. It just makes no sense to me. You know what I mean? Storyline-wise, it just makes no sense. So, I don't know, but what do y'all think about it? NBA needs to investigate the Boston Celtics. They just traded Jaylen Brown to their bitter rival, the Philadelphia 76ers, the same team that just made history against them, being down 3-1, coming back and knocking them out of the first round of the playoffs. First time in Boston history that happened to them. And you trade Jaylen Brown to them? And you didn't even get a haul. You got Paul George, who? And some first-round picks that might not even be high first-round picks. NBA needs to investigate this trade. They need to veto this trade. Step in and veto this trade. I'm a Knicks fan, obviously, as you could tell. And I am flabbergasted that the Boston Celtics would do this. And I'm afraid of Philly now. I ain't going to hold you. If Joel Embiid can stay healthy through the playoffs and you got a lineup of Edgecombe, Maxey, Jaylen Brown, and Joel Embiid, oh, my God. Bro. Philly overnight just became fucking contenders in the East, straight up. And NBA needs to investigate Boston. What kind of fucking trade was that? Brock Lesnar versus Oba Femi Trilogy Part 3 Hell in a Cell SummerSlam. This match is going to be crazy. And so all the people saying this makes no sense. Why have Oba win King of the Ring if he's not even going to fight for a championship at SummerSlam and pivot to Brock Lesnar? It made no sense. You could have had Seth Rollins win King of the Ring, being that now he's facing Roman Reigns for the championship at SummerSlam. Why not just have that? Why not just have Brock cost Oba Femi the match against Jey Uso to where Jey Uso won and would face Sami Zayn at fucking SummerSlam for the WWE Championship? All that makes sense and I get it all, but I'm glad how they did it. I'm glad that Oba won King of the Ring and this is how they're doing it and this is what they're pivoting to, because now we know after SummerSlam, Oba's still getting a championship match. He's still guaranteed a championship match, so he's still in the championship picture. So what I like about it is you're getting a trilogy of Brock versus Oba, Hell in a Cell. That match alone is going to be crazy, right? They're going to make that the main event of either night 1 or night 2, without a doubt. Your two main events are going to be Roman Seth and Brock Oba. Sami Zayn is going to kick off SummerSlam, night 1 opening match, defending his WWE title. And I'm assuming and I'm predicting it's going to be Jey Uso, because that makes sense. But Oba's going to beat Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is going to retire by pushing Oba. Oba's going to come out of SummerSlam red hot, on fire, looking like the ruler again. And then he's going to go after the championship, and that's either going to be Roman or Seth. And I still think it's going to be Roman. So I think Roman, that segment with Seth Rollins was amazing. And I think Roman is going to get over that hump and finally defeat Seth Rollins, retain the title. And I think it's going to be Oba Roman down the road. So I had no issue with it. I had no problem with what they're doing and how they're pivoting and how they still had Oba win King of the Ring, but they're doing it. Like, I have no issue with it because we're getting matches we still want. So I'm fine with it. What y'all think, though? LeBron the GOAT James is signing with the Golden State Warriors. You want to talk about box office? LeBron the GOAT James and Steph Curry on the same team. It's happening. Draymond Green declined his player option. The Warriors now have more flexibility to re-sign Green at a cheaper price and go get LeBron James to free agency. And LeBron is going to sign with the Warriors because also they're going to pursue a trade with the Washington Wizards to get Anthony Davis over. And you know what Draymond, LeBron, and Anthony Davis all have in common? Clutch sports. You know what's going to happen. Okay? Am I predicting that they're going to fucking just go on this crazy run next year and win a championship? Hell no, I'm not saying that. Now, I do think if they get to the playoffs and all four of them are completely healthy, do I think they can make a run deep into the playoffs to where anything can happen? I do. But that's the thing, I don't think they'll be healthy because of Anthony Davis, which is ironic because he's the youngest out of all four of them, but yet he's the one who's most injured. So because of Anthony Davis and his injury history, I don't expect them to make a deep playoff run. But if they could somehow stay healthy, I could see it. But it's just going to be fun to watch. LeBron James is already cemented. His legacy is set in stone. I do think if somehow he wins a championship at Golden State, he might add to it because he'll get his fifth ring. Steph Curry, same thing. His legacy is cemented. If he wins another one, fifth ring, you know, they do have more to gain, but they ain't going to lose nothing. You know what I mean? But they're on the twilights of their career. And the fact that they're teaming up, we got a glimpse of them teaming at Team USA. I think they're a great fit. Honestly, LeBron and Curry, man, it's going to be fun to watch. I think just as a basketball fan, you're just going to want to watch it because it's LeBron and Steph Curry playing on the same team. You know what I mean? I don't think we're going into this expecting them to like be prime Curry, prime LeBron, and fucking go out and win a championship. But just as a natural basketball fan, seeing two of the greatest in the past fucking decade, past decade and a half, LeBron, 2 decades, just coming together, you know, as they drive down to their sunset. Like, I don't know. I just think it's going to be fun to see. But what do y'all think about it? The WWE is turning the Bloodline into the next NWO. We are getting another Bloodline run in the WWE. This time it's going to be the Bloodline on crack. They've been dropping Easter eggs right in front of our faces for weeks. Okay, Roman Reigns, world champion, head of the table, tribal chief. The Usos back in the picture. Jacob Fatu is in the fold, acknowledging Roman Reigns as his tribal chief, basically being his hitman. You're showing us that you're actively trying to recruit Solo back to the bloodline. You just had a segment with Jey Uso and the honorary Us, Sami Zayn. So what are you trying to tell us? That you're trying to get it back together? But it's not going to happen because Solo's not going to do it. Sammy's not going to do it. There's tension between Jay and Jacob. What are we going to keep getting? Bloodline civil wars, tribal combat matches, Is that what we're going to get? Is that what we're all thinking? Or are they going to try to flip the script to where we think it's not going to happen? And then we get one more Bloodline 2.0 big run in the WWE where they all come together. Where you got Roman, the Usos, Jacob, the honorary Us, Sami Zayn, Solo, and the MFTs. And it's fucking Bloodline versus the entire WWE roster. And we get a run like that. Honestly, I would love it because it would be something different. It would be something new. It would be something fresh. Why not? WWE is turning the Bloodline into the next NWO, the Bloodline 2.0, and they've been planting Easter eggs right in front of our faces. There's no way we're going to keep having the Bloodline Civil War, I think the WWE is planning one more big Bloodline run to where it's going to be the Bloodline on crack. And really sit and think about it. Roman Reigns is back at the head of the table as the tribal chief as world champion again. The Usos are back in the picture. Jacob Fatu was in the fold and acknowledging Roman Reigns as his tribal chief, basically being his hitman as well. Then you're showing us you're actively trying to recruit Solo back to the bloodline. And you just had a segment with Jey Uso and the honorary Us, Sami Zayn. You're telling me that there's not talks in that fucking writer's room about having one more Bloodline run, but the Bloodline 2.0, the Bloodline on crack, where you have Roman Reigns, the Usos, Jacob Fatu, Solo, and the MFTs, and fucking Sami Zayn to where they basically just become the NWO and take on the entire WWE roster? You're telling me there's not a chance of a run with that? To me, I would love to see it. Because what are we going to keep getting? Right? Because it's like you're trying to trick us. Because you got tension between Jay and Jacob. Solo is saying, hell no, I'm not going back to Roman Reigns. Sami Zayn, I'm not going back to Roman Reigns. So you're pretty much like showing us like, okay, we're just going to keep having bloodline civil wars. We're going to keep having tribal combat matches. Is that what we're going to do? Or are they going to flip the script and actually have one more bloodline run and actually at the end try to trick us, right, to having us see that like, okay, there's no way they're going to get back together. But then they actually do. I mean, what's the chances of that? I mean, what is it going to hurt? You know what I mean? I don't think it could hurt anything. Honestly, I think it'd be pretty cool. I don't know. What y'all think?
All right, let's stop the craziness. The 2012 OKC Thunder team with Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka, James Harden coming off the bench would sweep the 2026 present OKC Thunder with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They would be putting out the brooms, sweeping them. Shit, they would sweep the 2025 Thunder that won the championship last year. And that 2025 Thunder championship run, in my opinion, it's probably going to go down as one of the most forgettable championship runs in NBA history. I'm going to be honest with you. But OKC in the present with Shea, with J-Dub, with Chet, the deep bench they got, they ain't touching the 2012 Thunder. Nobody on that deep bench is touching James Harden coming off the bench. Nobody on that team is stopping Kevin Durant. And Russell Westbrook, oh, that dude will be all up in Shai's grill. All up in his grill playing defense on him. You thought Castle, Fox, and Vassell and Harper are giving fucking Shai problems right now in this Spurs series? Can you imagine Russell Westbrook back in his younger prime days in 2012? How fast and athletic he was back then? And the defense he played back then? Come on, dog. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Look, and let's also think about this. Yeah, KD, Russ, James, they didn't win a championship with OKC, and it's a shame. But let's also remember they were going against the Spurs with Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker. They were going against Dallas led by Dirk. They were going against Kobe's Lakers. Like, they were going against stacked teams with Hall of Fame, top 25, top 20, top 10, top 5 players. They were going to the NBA Finals taking on LeBron, D. Wade, and Bosh. You look at the Thunder's championship run last year. A lot of teams get lucky, don't get me wrong. But, man, every series, it's like somebody, the opposing team's best player kept getting hurt. Like, look, all I'm going to say is the 2012 OKC Thunder would sweep this team. Put out the brooms. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce sitting courtside, Game 3, Cavs versus Knicks. I ain't going to hold you. I was nervous. I was nervous as a Knicks fan. I see what you're doing, Cavaliers. I saw what you did. Because if there's one thing that could probably break the Danhausen curse, it's the Swiftie power. It's the Swifties. I saw what you did, but it didn't work. It didn't work. The New York Knicks. Oh, we can outpower the Swifties. And we did that. We are going to the NBA championship, and we are going to win that NBA championship. I don't care if it's the Spurs that come out the West with that 7-foot fucking alien, and I don't care if it's the OKC Big Bad Thunder with the spaghetti legs himself, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We'll smack them so hard they'll think they're back in Seattle. It don't matter who come out the West, because we're going to sweep the Cavs tomorrow. Go ahead and bring Swiftie back. See if that works for you in Game 4, because it won't. We're going to kick our feet up, get another week off, and after OKC and San Antonio continue to beat the shit out of each other, whoever comes limping into the finals after that, we going to put to sleep. We going to put to sleep. And we going to win the championship. Jalen Brunson going to be finals MVP. And then be on that trajectory of being the greatest Knick ever. You tried. You tried. I give you that. You tried. But it didn't work. I still love you, Taylor Swift. I love you. I do. Travis, you're my dog. I'm not a Chiefs fan, but, you know, I love your play. I love your game. I'm a fan.
I saw what y'all tried to do, but it didn't work. It didn't work. Knicks all day. Make sure you bring those brooms out tomorrow. We gonna need to do some sweeping. CM Punk is the biggest hypocrite in wrestling history. Now, I might be a little over dramatic there, but I just find it funny how CM Punk had a whole storyline with Roman Reigns, and his big punchline, Roman's a part-timer and doesn't always show up. And then you lose to Roman Reigns. It's almost June. Where you been at, bro? I just find it funny that you talked all this shit, how somebody else didn't show up, and then now you're not showing up. Like, I don't know. Look, I get it, all right? I get it that like a lot of big time superstars, when they lose at WrestleMania, they take a little vacation and they're off for a few weeks, maybe even a month or two, right? But it's just hard for me to be like, yeah, I get it, when this person just had a whole storyline shitting on somebody else about not showing up, and now you're not going to show up. Like, how does that make sense? Like, this is why I didn't go crazy, oh my God, he cooked Roman Reigns when he had those promos, because it's like, first of all, a lot of the shit that CM Punk was saying has already been said before. Whether it was other superstars that said it to Roman already, or CM Punk said it himself to a different superstar. He just turned it a little bit and put it on Roman Reigns. And then calling him a part-timer and doesn't always show up. First of all, Roman has worked his way to that fucking stature. Okay, he carried this business for years. Let's be honest about it. So he deserves to get that Brock Lesnar's treatment. Like, it just is what it is. And CM Punk, let's be honest, he does the same thing. I get it. He's been showing up for months, well, years, I guess now. But like Roman said, you've been gone for 10 years. Of course you're going to come back and try to get in everybody's good graces again. Like, I don't know. Like, I get it. He's going to come back soon. He has to now. A lot of people are talking about, oh, because it might be Creative's fault. They ain't got nothing for him. He lost to Roman. Maybe they're just going to have him off TV for a little bit and then make a big return. Maybe at Clash in Italy, and he interrupts that Tribal Combat match. Who knows? But, look, I just feel like I wanted to make a comment about it because I was just thinking about it, and I just found it funny how somebody could talk shit about somebody else not showing up, and then they lose to that person, and then you don't show up. Like, isn't that a little hypocritical? I don't know.
Bro, we're 1 win away. We're 1 win away. My kids are sleeping, bro. My kids are sleeping. My kids are sleeping. I can't. I want to scream so fucking loud. So fucking loud. Mom, I know you up there. We don't. I just had the greatest feeling I have ever felt watching a basketball game in my life. And bro, I was crying. Now look, I ain't trying to get too ahead of myself, but we 1 game away. We up 3-1. We are not losing this. We are bringing this the fuck home. Look, I called the Knicks in 6. I want them to win in the Garden, but you know what? Fuck that. Do not take your foot off the fucking gas. Beat them in San Antonio. End this in 5, and we'll see you when you get back for the parade. Don't play no games. Don't play no games. End this shit in 5. Dog, what the fuck did I just witness? What did I just witness? LaMelo Crash Course Ball and Anthony Ant-Man Edwards in the same backcourt? So LaMelo Ball just got traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Naz Reid and a bunch of first-round picks. And honestly, I tend to agree with everybody else. This trade made no sense. Number one, Minnesota got smaller. You already got rid of Randall, which I'm fine with. But now you get rid of Naz Reid, who outside of Ant-Man has been your most consistent player over the past few years. He's a former 6th Man of the Year winner. He could shoot the ball, get his own shot. He spreads the floor. He's a big man. He's physical, and he can play defense. And you get rid of him for somebody who can barely stay healthy in LaMelo Ball? Like, I think Charlotte won this trade by far. You still got Brandon Miller, Con Kneppel, Miles Bridges. Now you got a bunch of first-round picks, and you get Naz Reid coming over. They won this trade. Now, I'm going to try to hold out hope that maybe there's some light at the end of the tunnel, and this does work, because clearly it looks like they're going the San Antonio Spurs route. Have a bunch of guards play around one big man, which is going to be Rudy Gobert, which is what the Spurs do with Wemby. You have Wemby, and then you got a bunch of guards playing around him. That's what it feels like. And we'll see if it works. Because if I'm Minnesota, you got to get some kind of depth back there and get some more big bodies back there, because you cannot get smaller against OKC and San Antonio. I just don't think it's going to work because Rudy is not on Wemby's level. Rudy is not on OKC's level when it comes to Chet, Hartenstein, and the dude they just drafted all together. Like, I don't know, but I do think Charlotte won this trade. I'm going to hold out hope because now Ant, yes, he doesn't have to dominate the rock no more. You actually have somebody who can hold the rock and actually play make, because let's be honest, LaMelo Ball can fucking pass the ball now. He is a very good passer. He can play make, so it can work, but I don't know, man. I just think getting rid of Naz Reid, I'm not. I gotta wait and see, but I do think Charlotte is on the up though. LeBron the GOAT James, where is he going? And let's not act like he still can't help a team win an NBA championship, because we know that he can, because he is the GOAT. Is he going to re-sign with the Lakers? Is he going back home for the third time to Cleveland, up to the Bay with Steph Curry, maybe down to Houston with KD, Denver with the Joker, or maybe back to South Beach with Bam and Giannis? Look, is LeBron still a number one option for a championship team? No. At this point in his career, no. Is he the number two option on the championship team? Maybe. It depends. If you put LeBron in the Motor City on Detroit with the Pistons, and you got Cade Cunningham as your number one option, and then LeBron James, and then you surround that with Duran, Tobias Harris, and add some more shooters, that coming out the East, you might be talking about something there, even with James as the number two option. But as a number three option, bro, there's a bunch of teams he can help. Go back to Cleveland? Yes. Go to Denver with the Joker and Jamal Murray? Yes. Now, up to the Bay with Steph Curry? I don't know, because I think Draymond is washed up. Jimmy Butler coming off of ACL. We don't know how he's going to be. It's just going to be the LeBron and Steph Curry show. And honestly, that's all it's going to be. It's going to be a show, must-watch TV, box office, LeBron and Steph being on the same team. Then competing for championships, though, I don't really see it. But re-signing with the Lakers, if Luka Doncic could stay fucking healthy all year and fucking ball out with Austin Reeves staying healthy, they might be able to do something if they can go out and get them another big man and get some fucking players around them that can play defense. So, I don't know. But we know LeBron can still help a team win a championship. He just got to land in the right spot. And honestly, don't sleep on Denver, because I have a feeling he can join the fucking Nuggets along with Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, fucking the Joker. You add a little bit more pieces in there, I don't know. Don't sleep on the Nuggets. Jaylen Brown is getting traded to the Charlotte Hornets. Tell me why this trade can't happen. Why can't the Charlotte Hornets package a deal of Miles Bridges, Brandon Miller, that 7-foot dude, the Botsies, whatever his name is, and the haul of first-round draft picks that they got for like the next 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years to the Boston Celtics for Jaylen Brown and Derek White? It makes sense. First of all, for Boston, you get rid of Jaylen Brown, who obviously wants to be out of there, right? You get Miles Bridges, who's a solid 4. You get Brandon Miller, who's a 20-point scorer. And you get a 7-footer who played decent for Charlotte. You need a big man. You need some fucking size, right? And then you get a haul of first-round draft picks, which you can use them, or you could package them to get more players to put around Jason Tatum. And then for Charlotte, you're telling me a fucking lineup of Kobe White at the guard, which you just extended, Con Kneppel, Jaylen Brown, Naz Reid, and Ryan Kalkbrenner, and then Derek White as your 6th man. You're telling me that's not a pretty good fucking lineup there for Charlotte, being led by Jaylen Brown, who wants to be a number 1 and will be a clear-cut number 1, who will be surrounded by shooters like Con Kneppel. Kobe White can shoot the ball and play make. Naz Reid could fucking do it all. I still don't understand why Minnesota got rid of him. You'll have a 7-footer, and then you'll have Derek White coming off the bench. Why can't that trade happen? Please tell me. WWE's masked man is Jacob Fatu, who is possibly working with Seth freaking Rollins. And before you say that doesn't make any sense, just look at these clues. On Monday Night Raw, after Survivor Series, Solo Sikoa walking up to the arena for his match against Gunther, randomly they show Jacob Fatu. Why are they showing Jacob Fatu? Jacob's supposed to be on SmackDown, not Raw, but they're showing him on Raw. They haven't talked about him in how long, and randomly the Monday Night Raw after Survivor Series, they show him? That's one clue. Second clue, that same Monday Night Raw, what did they talk about all night? How Seth freaking Rollins was spotted in San Diego. The masked man hit a curb stomp, so they're trying to relate whoever this is to Seth freaking Rollins. So Seth was at Survivor Series. They're showing us randomly out of nowhere on Monday Night Raw, Jacob Fatu. I'm just saying, you put it together, it can mean something. Now, I get it. It makes zero sense of Jacob and Seth working together. And essentially, Jacob cost his cousins the match. Why would they help the Vision win? Now, I had a theory that, no, this wasn't Seth who curb stomped CM Punk, but I do believe whoever did it, which it could be Jacob Fatu, but whoever did it is working with Seth freaking Rollins. And I think Seth did that to send a message to the Vision, and the Vision just doesn't know it yet. They're like, hey, I'm still here. I ain't going nowhere, and I'm coming for y'all. So, I don't know. I don't know what y'all think about it. Obviously, this could be a reach, but I just thought it was weird how out of nowhere, Monday night after Survivor Series, after the Masked Man, they showed Jacob Fatu on Monday Night Raw. Like, I don't know. What y'all think? John Cena versus The Rock, WrestleMania 42 and Cena's last ever match. The Rock is making his return at Saturday night's main event after Gunther defeats John Cena, and we're all thinking, okay, that's it. Cena's walking off into the sunset. No, The Rock's going to confront John Cena and say, your soul belongs to me. You ain't going nowhere. Remember, The Rock, the last time we saw him is when John Cena turned heel at Elimination Chamber, which essentially gave The Rock his soul. Now, The Rock and John Cena hasn't seen each other since, and then Cena went ahead and turned babyface again before SummerSlam. The Rock's not having it. So The Rock's going to confront him, and then we're going to get The Rock versus Cena at WrestleMania, where Cena says, you know what? I'll take you on. I win. Retire, get my soul back. Now, look, I know this whole shit is corny, but blame The Rock, okay? Because he's the one who started all this soul shit by coming out, wanting Cody Rhodes' soul, and that's where it all started, so blame him. But anyway, with the storyline being out there in the universe with the whole soul shit, this is what's going to happen. And to me, I hope it does. I hope it does. Because John Cena's final match shouldn't be at a program like Saturday night's main event. It should be on a stage like WrestleMania. And I love Gunther, but honestly, I wouldn't mind him taking on The Rock in his final ever match. Remember, they had a big rivalry, right? They're 1-1 against each other. Both matches happening at WrestleMania. So you have a part 3 WrestleMania. John Cena wins, walk off into the sunset, gets his soul back, defeats The Rock. Definitely puts the stamp on him being the greatest of all time. I mean, come on, man. I mean, I might be reaching, right? But I don't know. I saw this shit out there in the universe. I was like, dang, that does sound interesting. It could happen. And honestly, I kind of hope it does. Edge Adam Copeland is making his WWE return to take on John Cena at Saturday night's main event, but it's Gunther versus Cena. What are you talking about? Can I give you my reach of a prediction right now? I think Gunther is going to get taken out in the back at the beginning of this event, where he will no longer be available to take on John Cena at Saturday night's main event in the main event. So all night we're going to get backstage look of Adam Pearce, John Cena finding out the news. They're wondering what happened. What are we going to do? And in the main event, John Cena's going to come out. He's going to cut the promo, thank the fans, and then he says, fuck it. He's literally going to go out the exact same way that he came in, and that's issue a open challenge on the spot. First person to come out, let's get it. And all you're going to hear is, you think you know me. And the place is going to go crazy. Edge returns. We get Edge versus Cena one last time in Cena's last match. And whoever the person was that took out Gunther is going to lead to a storyline with Gunther and that person going forward. I'm telling you, it's a reach, but it's a reach that I hope happens. I don't know what y'all think. WWE just showed Vince McMahon on live television, but was this a floater to the WWE universe for the possibility of bringing Vince McMahon back into the WWE, whether it's as a Mr. McMahon character or bring him back to throw him into the Hall of Fame, and they want to see how we would react to seeing him on that tribute video. Now, I get a lot of people like, bro, you're making this bigger than what it is. It's not that serious. That's a reach. They ain't never bringing him back to the WWE, and that's a valid point. But before you saw his face pop up in that video, you would have thought to yourself, we would never see Vince McMahon's face in WWE ever again. But we just did. And I'm just saying, it's WWE. Never say never. Khan himself has said he's in the business for making money. And if the fans want it and they're going to pay for it and they could profit off it, they might bring him back in some kind of capacity. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Just
never say never. That door might have been shut and locked, but after seeing him in that tribute video, that thing might be unlocked right now. It might not be opened yet, but it might be unlocked. I'm just saying. I don't know. What are your thoughts about it? WWE, but more specifically, Triple H is getting backlash for what happened at the end of the John Cena versus Gunther match. But honestly, I think this was John Cena's call. John Cena is so humble, so eager to give back and put people over that sometimes I feel like he robs himself of the moments that he deserves. Because I feel like the WWE would have gave him the dub if he wanted the dub. Honestly. But John Cena smiled right before he tapped out. And if you look at that face, that is the face of, I'm satisfied. I'm done. And if you notice, if you watched it live, when Triple H was coming down to the ring and people were booing the shit out of him, if you looked inside of the ring, John Cena was laughing and looking at the crowd saying, I'm sorry. This was John Cena's idea. He wanted to put Gunther over. He wanted to go out, even if it wasn't Gunther and it was somebody else, he wanted to go out by putting somebody else over because his mindset is always giving back and putting somebody else over. But to me, it's like, dog, this was your moment. This was your moment for us to put you over for your entire career, putting other people over. This was your moment to get your flowers, your moment to get your pop with the crowd, soak in that victory on your way out. Like, this was your moment. You know what I mean? And it sucks we didn't get it, but regardless, it was still, it's just like a bittersweet thing, but it's still special. I mean, you know what I mean? It was his last match. He still had that moment afterwards with the tribute video, everybody coming out, you know, him saluting everybody. But yeah, I honestly don't think it was Triple H's idea. I think it was John Cena's. So I don't know, but what y'all think about it? AEW is outranking the WWE. Is this true? So I've seen this post a lot lately about how AEW has actually been having better ratings than the WWE. Do I need to start watching AEW? Because I'll be honest with you, I don't watch it. I don't watch AEW. I watch WWE, NXT, and that's it. But do I really need to start tuning into AEW? Because I get a lot of mixed reviews and reactions about it. People saying they love it and it is better than the WWE, and then a lot of people saying, it's just mid. It's blown up to be more than what it really is. It's just mid. So y'all let me know, do I need to start watching AEW? Is AEW really outrating and outranking WWE right now going into 2026? I don't know. I'll let y'all be the judge of that. But if I get a lot of people in here saying that it's true, and that I need to start watching it, I think I might start tuning in and seeing what's going on over there. So I mean, there's a lot of people over there that I do like. You know what I mean? They have a lot of wrestlers, superstars over there that I fuck with. So maybe I should start tuning in just for that, and maybe I'll get hooked and I could judge myself for myself if AEW really is better than WWE. I don't know, but what y'all think?
New York Knicks are winning the NBA championship this year. I don't care if it's the Spurs with that 7-foot alien that come out the West, or the big bad OKC Thunder with Mr. Spaghetti Legs himself, SGA Shea Gilgeous-Alexander come out the West. We'll slap them so hard they'll think they're back in Seattle. The Knicks are going to cap off that sweep tomorrow night in Cleveland. They're going to come back home. They're going to eat some chopped cheese, kick their feet up, and for the rest of the week, watch OKC and San Antonio beat the shit out of each other. We get another whole week off, and whichever one is standing from that fight, we'll put them to sleep. We'll pick up the leftovers. We'll put them to sleep. Jalen Brunson, Finals MVP, first championship since 1973. And what's even crazy now that I think about it, the last time the Knicks won an NBA championship, neither of my parents were even born yet. That is crazy. Neither my mom or my dad was even born yet the last time the Knicks won an NBA championship. That's like blowing my mind right now. But we winning a championship this year. Jalen Brunson, MVP. And that parade, the city of New York. Bro.